Good afternoon and welcome to TV Sapientia News Hour. My name is Oluchi Ojobamidele. The Independent National Electoral Commission INEC has begun distributing sensitive and non-sensitive materials to all 21 local government areas ahead of tomorrow's governorship election in Anambra State. The exercise took place at the Central Bank of Nigeria office in Awka, supervised by the state resident Electoral Commissioner Dr. Queen Ogu, amid heavy deployment of security personnel. Ogu explained that three key materials, the bimodal voter accreditation system, Forms EC8A and Forms EC8B, were loaded into vehicles for onward transportation to the registration area centers across the state. She said the dispatch is meant to ensure that the election commenced on schedule. Dr. Ogu added that the Commission had made comprehensive preparations in collaboration with all relevant stakeholders, including political parties, security agencies, civil society organizations, to ensure that the election will be free, fair, transparent, and credible. INEC Chairman Professor Joash Amupitan, speaking during a stakeholders engagement with observers and actual staff in Awka, assured National Youth Service Corps members being deployed as ad hoc staff of their safety and timely payment of election duty allowances. Professor Amupitan urged electoral officers to be neutral in the discharge of their duties, stressing that INEC is committed to conducting a peaceful and successful election that will serve as a model for future polls. President Bola Tinubu has ordered a strict prohibition on the sale or transfer of any properties owned by the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAAN, located within or adjacent to airport areas. This policy was revealed on Thursday by the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, during a briefing with State House reporters following the Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja. Keyamo said the order superseded any asset liquidation efforts from prior governments, underscoring that the holdings are vital national resources that must stay in public hands. He highlighted the necessity of on-site housing for critical staff such as firefighters and air traffic controllers to enable swift crisis intervention, a key national rationale for preserving these sites. The Presidential Committee on the Overhaul and Revamp of Training Institutions for Security Agencies has vowed to deliver a comprehensive plan for the total rehabilitation of the nation's security training facilities. The chairman of the committee and governor of Enugu State, Peter Mba, gave the assurance in Rivers State, where the team inspected the abandoned Nigerian Police Training School on Thursday. The visit, part of a nationwide assessment, follows President Bola Tinubu's directive to urgently evaluate and restore the state of police and NSCDC training institutions. Governor Mba said the committee is working closely with consultants to prepare a detailed bill of quantities that will guide the refurbishment process across the country, adding that the team intends to drive the project through full implementation. He said the president's initiative reflects his resolve to tackle Nigerian security challenges through proper training and institution rebuilding. As the people of Anambra State prepares to go out and vote tomorrow for their preferred candidate, the Executive Director of Youth Initiative for Advocacy, Growth and Advancement, Yaga Africa, Samson Itodo, has raised concern over insecurity in the state. Itodo, in an interview on Channel Television's Politics Today, said insecurity remains a major challenge, particularly in riverine and high-risk areas, noting that if security agencies do not provide protection for INEC officials and materials, deployment will be difficult. The Yaga chief urged the security operatives to collaborate with the Independent National Electoral Commission to ensure safe and smooth conduct of the exercise. Despite the challenges, Itodo is, however, optimistic that voter turnout will improve compared to the 2021 election. The Senate yesterday issued a firm directive to the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, not to extend the December 31, 2025 deadline for the prohibition of the production and sale of alcoholic beverages in sachets and small volume PET bottles. The resolution followed the motion of urgent national importance moved by Senator Sokwa Ekpeyong of Cross River South during plenary on Tuesday. Presenting the motion, Ekpeyong said the enforcement timeline is in line with global regulatory standards and international best practices aimed at reducing alcohol-related harm among Nigerians. Ekpeyong said the federal government had already granted manufacturers a one-year ultimatum in 2024 to enable them to exhaust existing stock and transition to complaint packaging, but warned that some producers are now lobbying for another extension. The lawmaker argued that the continued sale of high-content alcoholic beverages in sachet form is fueling addiction, impaired cognitive development, school dropout, domestic violence, and a rise in road accidents, especially among commercial drivers and teenagers. Speaking, the Senate President Godswill Akpabio said the resolution is a necessary step to protect the nation's youth and public safety, warning that NAFDAC must fully implement the ban. President Bola Tinubu on Thursday administered the oath of office to Dr. Bernard Doro and Dr. Kingsley Udeh as ministers, officially inducting them into the Federal Executive Council. The ceremony took place inside the council chamber of the State House, Abuja, just minutes before the commencement of the FEC meeting, the first since July 2025. Thursday's swearing-in restores cabinet representation for Plateau and Enugu State, both of which had been without ministerial presence in the past few weeks. Doro, who hails from Kwao Basa local government area of Plateau State, has over 2 decades of combined experience in clinical medicine, pharmacy, and IT-driven health strategy. Meanwhile, Udeh, the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in Enugu State, until his nomination, replaces Uche Nnaji, the former Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, who resigned on October 7, 2025, following controversies over his academic records at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. The European Union on Thursday announced the deployment of over 600 observers to Anambra State ahead of Saturday's governorship election. The observers were deployed under the European Union's support to democratic governance in Nigeria program, which enables its civil society partners to deploy election observers, strengthen peace building, promote disability and gender inclusion, counter misinformation, and reinforce public confidence in the democratic process. A statement by the European Union in Abuja said 7 of the 16 European Union support to democratic governance in Nigeria implementing partners are already on the ground in Anambra State. On the foreign news, Cameroon's 92-year-old President Paul Biya has promised to restore order in the country gripped by post-election violence as he was sworn in for an 8th executive term in office. According to BBC report, the world's oldest president, in his speech, offered condolences to victims of the protest and blamed those he called irresponsible politicians for the unrest. Following allegations of fraud during the last month's election, Biya described the electoral process as satisfactory and praised the electoral body. Biya won 54% of the votes compared to the 35% of Issa Bakari, according to the official results. National Human Rights Commission said an announcement of the result led to deadly protests across the country, which saw at least 14 people killed and more than 1,200 arrested. The president promised to make issues affecting women and young people a priority, with a commitment to tackle corruption and security challenges that have marred his administration over the years. Ugandan-born politician Zoran Mandani has been elected as the next mayor of New York City, becoming the first Muslim to hold a position in the city's history. Mandani, a Democrat and former state lawmaker, secured a decisive victory in Tuesday's mayoral election, marking a significant milestone in the city's political landscape. The 34-year-old, who spent part of his childhood in South Africa before moving to the United States, is also said to become New York's youngest mayor in more than a century. In his victory speech, Mandani reaffirmed his commitment to inclusivity, describing New York as a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants, and now led by an immigrant. He pledged to work towards policies that reflect unity and social justice, saying the city will continue to be a beacon of diversity and opportunity. Mandani will officially assume office on January 1, 2026, succeeding the outgoing administration. And now to sports, Super Falcons Chiamaka Nnadozie has been nominated in FIFA's The Best Women Goalkeeper of the Year category, a testament of her impressive form for both club and country in 2025. The World Football Governing Body said the Nigerian was shortlisted for her performances from 11th of August 2024 to 2nd of August 2025. FIFA wrote that the Nigerian was magnificent as Paris FC stunned Paris Saint-Germain in the Coupe de France final, keeping a clean sheet and then denying 2 penalties in the shootout. Nnadozie also kept 4 shootouts in 6 games as the Super Falcons sunk Morocco in Rabat to reclaim the WAFCON title. Still on sports, Nigeria, Egypt, Mozambique, Togo, Morocco and Benin are set for the 2025 Beach Volleyball World Championship in South Australia. The 15th edition of the event is scheduled for 14th to 23rd of November 2025 in Australia and will feature 48 men's and 48 women's teams from around the globe, with 216 matches to be played over 10 days. The teams will compete in a round-robin format, with top 2 teams from each group advancing to the knockout stage. Nigeria's women's team will be represented by Pamela Bauer and Esther Mba, who have been drawn into Group C, one of the tournament's toughest pools. To end the news, here are the major news headlines. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has begun distributing sensitive and non-sensitive materials to all 21 local government areas ahead of tomorrow's governorship election in Anambra State. Cameroon's 92-year-old President Paul Biya has promised to restore order in the country gripped by post-election violence as he was sworn in for an 8th consecutive term in office. And our Super Falcons Chiamaka Nnadozie has been nominated in FIFA's The Best Women's Goalkeeper of the Year category, a testament of her impressive form for both her club and country in 2025. And that was the TV Sapientia News at 1. On behalf of the technical and the editorial crew, my name is Oluchi Ojo Bamidele. Thank you for being here with us on TV Sapientia.